Hey, what's going on, guys? Simple Forex here for another video. So I was looking back at some of my trades from last week and I realized that these two confirmations that I use are so important to implement into your strategy. And if you're not implementing it in your strategy right now, this is your opportunity and this is your calling to add it to your strategy. Whether you're trading the Simple Forex strategy or whether you're trading your own strategy, these two confirmations you should learn before it's too late. Okay, so without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, so last week I only ended up taking 5 trades. There was actually one trade that I was going to take on US30, but I ended up skipping over it because it did not line up with my confirmation. Now, it's so important for you to actually stick to your trading plan, and this is what's going to make you profitable. I've said it in other videos and I'll say it again: stick to your trading plan. It will make you profitable. Now, don't think, oh, I might make, an extra win on a trade here, an extra 2% here, an extra 4% here. If it doesn't have the confirmations you are looking for, don't enter the trade. It's going to work out for you in the long term. In the short term, yeah, you might win a trade that will make you 4 or 5% in one trade, but it might not line up with the confirmations that you've set in your trading plan. So make sure you stick to that. All right, let's get right into this. Okay, so one of the trades I took last week was on odd JPY. I'm gonna get right into this and I'll show you exactly the process I took on this trade. So we had a nice little downtrend here on the 15-minute. I'm looking at the 4-minute now, but I just switched to the 15-minute. This was a 15-minute trade here. So we had a nice little downtrend and we were already in an uptrend. So this was perfect. We had a nice little downtrend form here, made a high. So whenever it makes a high like this, I'm going to mark out the high because this is where I'm looking to enter. I went ahead and I entered. Now, here's the thing. I didn't just enter right away after price broke this. Now, this is one of the confirmations that I'm going to talk about here today, and that's divergence. I've talked about it in many other videos, but today I'm going to cover particularly why it's so important to actually stick to your confirmations and why sticking to a confirmation like divergence can actually help you in the long run. Because I'll show you there are some other trades that I would have taken last week, but I did not take, and it actually saved me in the end. Right here, we had divergence. We had a low going to a low in the downward direction. And then on the MACD here, we had a low going to a low in an upward direction. Now, this told me that price was going to continue pushing higher with more bullish momentum. Because we had the MACD lowering here, this showed me that a lot of that bearish momentum was actually wearing off and we're getting a lot of bullish momentum to the upside. So I took advantage of that and I went and I entered in the trade. My second confirmation was for entry. And for me, that is as long as we have a breakout candle breaking above this green line. So we had a breakout candle here. And then my second confirmation was for price to close above that breakout candle. So I marked out the breakout candle and we had price close above it. Price closed above it. So I just went ahead and entered on the break line. This trade was very simple. I think I made 2.2% on this. Yep. I hit about a 2.2% trade on this, minus some of the spread, obviously. But for the most part, around 2.2% on this trade. That was a nice, simple, easy trade on odd JPY. Now going to USD CHF, this trade I took on Wednesday there. The market opened up back. Here, was kind of consolidating for a little bit. So I was just waiting for price to break a higher low. So we had this higher low marked out right here. And same thing, we had a high going to a high and it's in the upward direction. And then as you can see on the MACD, we had a high going to a low. So once again, that told me the exact same thing. That told me we were going to have a lot of momentum wearing off on the bullish side. And a lot of that momentum is going to be turned into bearish momentum to the downside. The problem with this trade, we had the divergence and we were just looking for a nice little breakout candle. So we had our breakout candle here and we marked our breakout candle. Now, when we marked out our breakout candle, we were looking for price to close below that for us to confirm that we wanted to get into the trade. So we ended up price ended up closing below that. So I was like, okay, cool. Now we can go ahead and enter the trade. However, price never came back to the break line and that's where I was looking to enter. So we never ended up getting into this trade. Now, here's where I'm telling you, you have to be very dedicated and very strict if you want to be profitable. That's where you're actually going to see the change. I could have eventually been like, you know what? I want to enter in. I'll enter in late. Who cares if it doesn't go up? Yes, I would have made money, but it's not about that. You want to look for the long-term gain. And the long-term game says that I should only enter at the break line or a little bit further back. So I simply did not take that trade. So it's really important to actually follow through with your trading plan. As you can see, I did it here. Now, some of you might be thinking, oh, you would have made money. You would have made money. There are countless other times where I wouldn't have made money. And not only that, if you enter lower, you have to expand your stop loss, making you have a smaller risk to reward. And with the simple Forex strategy, I'm looking for 1 to 2s. You know, going for a smaller trade is not really what I'm looking for, especially when trading the simple Forex strategy, because the simple Forex strategy performs the best in that 1 to 2 risk to reward area. So I wasn't really looking to enter on this trade, but that's okay. Now for the third trade, we had a nice little downtrend here. And I was just looking for a break of a lower high. We had a lower high form here. So I was looking for price to break that. We had actually a lower high form back here, but price couldn't break it with a true break. So we had to move to the next lower high, which it formed here. Now, when price was looking to break this, I was like, okay, cool. We had a breakout candle here. You know, if I mark that breakout candle, we had another candle close above it. And now you guys might be thinking, okay, perfect. So why did this trade fail? Why is your stop loss hit on this trade? Well, I'll tell you what. I know I'm sitting here talking about how you need to take each trade with the confirmations that you choose and stick to the plan. But here, look what happened. Simple Forex did not stick to the plan, and we did not have divergence. We had a low to a low, and then we had a low to a low, both pointing in the same direction. So that confirmed to me we did not have divergence. Now, I may have overlooked this a little bit, thinking that we had divergence because this was going to a low. But in reality, this was not divergence. So I ended up taking a loss here for a 1% loss. Now, this also goes to show how important it is to take these 1 to 2 trades because I took this trade here and made 2%. When I took this trade on odd CHF, even though I lost the trade, it's good. It was fine. And I was still up 1% profit here because I was taking those 1 to 2% trades. So then when I did encounter a loss like I did here, it was only a 1% loss, so it did not affect my account. I was still up profit. Now we had the confirmation of the true break to enter, and that was good. But what we did not have was the divergence. So we didn't have that momentum actually switching to the upside. And as you can see, it continued on in this consolidation. Now, if we had that divergence to confirm price was moving to the upside, we would probably get price moving up a lot more. And then we could look for some sort of exit around the area up here. And that would have been a nice, 1 to 3 trade or so. But either or, that is a loss there. And I'm showing you guys to show you that even an experienced trader as myself has trouble sticking to the plan sometimes. And here I overlooked this a little bit and it came back to bite me. So that's that. Now for the GBP JPY trade, here we had a nice little uptrend going on. We marked out the higher low here and we waited for price to break it. Price broke it. We had a nice confirmation of a true break. We had the breakout candle there. And then after, we had price close below the breakout candle. So that was a good confirmation for me to enter. Now, when it came to divergence, we had a high going to a high. We also had a high going to high, both in the same direction, but this one was a little more even for me. So when I get those more even, almost straight line trades, that also can signal some divergence for me as well. It doesn't always have to be in a downwards direction. If it's a little bit more even, that can also signal divergence. So I took this trade. Now for this though, because it didn't have full divergence, I only ended up taking 0.5% on this trade. So when I see maybe the divergence isn't as strong, I will adjust my risk to match the environment. And the environment here was a little bit more of a riskier trade because of that. So I lowered my risk in that case. In this case, it still worked out. I still won the trade, but here I only made 1% on the trade because I only risked 0.5%. So at this point, I'm up 2% total on the week, and a US 30 trade that I was going to take was in my eyes at the time. This was earlier in the week on Tuesday, I believe. Yes, this was pretty early morning on a Tuesday. Here I marked out a lower high, and as you can see, price came up and ended up breaking above that lower high. But this is where I like to show another example. This is a trade I never ended up taking. And you see it's yellow here on my charts because when I have a trade that's yellow, it means I'm thinking about taking it. When it's green, it means I've taken it. So we had that nice structure forming. We had price break above, which I was excited about. And then at this point, I was just waiting for price to break or close above this line here. We never got that close. So that confirmed to us it was not a true break. And when you don't have the true breaks, it's not a good idea to enter. So I did not enter. I waited patiently. But unfortunately, we couldn't get anything out of this trade, and it ended up saving us in the long run. So as you can see, I saved myself on this trade. I should have saved myself here on the odd CHF trade. That would have been 1% extra that I would have gained during the week, but a lesson learned nonetheless. So here on the US 30 trade, I never ended up getting to that, and I ended up saving myself in the long run. And that's why it's important to save yourselves from these trades. So before I get into the final trade here, this is one of my best trades, and I'm excited to show you guys because it has everything that I like to trade. It has all my confirmations. It even has my exits that I love to use. So I'm going to show you guys in a second, but before I show you guys, last week I ended up depositing $1,000 into a triple AFX account, and they have a special deal right now. If you deposit, I think $100 minimum, you get 30% on top of that added to your account. Now this is going to help your account for things like floating losses, and it's also going to help you to utilize higher leverage. So I was able to utilize it for higher leverage, and then in turn I ended up flipping, I think, my $1,000 account into $2,000 because of that 30% extra leverage. So if you don't already have an account with triple AFX and you haven't deposited, go ahead and sign up and get that deposit bonus today. It's going to help you tremendously with your trading. And if you want to just trade for fun and you want to do some account flipping, that will actually be perfect, and it will help you a lot with your account flipping. It will give you the extra leverage you need to take higher lots to trade more, and in turn get a higher reward. So if you'd like to sign up with triple AFX, go ahead and sign up with them. Take advantage of that bonus while it lasts, because this is a deal that's only going on for a bit. I'm not actually sure how long it's going to go on for, but it's not going to last forever. So take advantage of it now while you can. Okay, so for the final trade of the week, I'm super excited to show you guys because you're going to absolutely love the price action on this trade. I loved it myself. Now this trade, I ended up taking it on the 4-minute, and it was absolutely beautiful. Okay, so this trade was a nice 8% trade for me. 8.11, but I think I ended up getting it around the 8% anyways. So this was everything that I like to look at while I'm trading. My entry was extra tight because I had some confirmations for that. So firstly, price was in a uptrend already. As you can see, price was starting to form in this uptrend. So I knew to take advantage of this market, it would be best to jump into a buy. So I was looking for that perfect opportunity to get into a buy, and it was right around that 11 o'clock area where I like to trade anyways. So price was in a nice downtrend here. We marked out the lower high here. Price broke above that lower high, gave us the confirmation of a true break. We had a break candle here, and then price ended up closing above that break candle, signaling to us that price was going to continue to go to the upside. So I was super excited about that. I ended up entering in the trade on the break line, and once again we had some nice divergence going on here. We had a low going to a low in the downwards direction, and we had a low going to a low in the upwards direction. This was a perfect signal for me to get into the trade. Now when it came to entering the trade and putting my take profit and my stop loss, what really helped me was seeing all of this green right here. I saw so much green. I was like, this trade is so bullish right now. There's no chance it's going to come down past this area. So I had this area blocked off as an area where price would struggle in quite a bit. I made sure to set my stop loss a little bit below here, and I went for the entry. Now when it came to taking profit, like I've said before, a good point to take profit will be if there was a uptrend before, like there was here. You take the part where price broke out of that uptrend, and price loves to come and touch back into those areas. And as you can see, that's where price broke out of this trend, and that's where price came up and touched. And as you can see, it even touched into that area and shot off of it, because that is where a lot of people are going to be selling, and a lot of people are going to be taking their profit there. So if you haven't seen this strategy already and you want to know where to take exits, keep in mind for these areas, they're going to help you tremendously with your exits. Go ahead and backtest it. I'm telling you, it helps a lot. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to hop on here today and show you some of my previous trades to get a little more insight on how I trade, some of the trades that I don't take, and even the losses, because the losses are the most important part of trading. It's where you're going to learn where you messed up. Yeah, thanks for watching.